WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day for your Saturday. I'm tracking the potential for severe thunderstorms just ahead.
Human remains found near an Anderson County farm have been identified.
And the start of something new at a Central Kentucky school, how the Pledge of Allegiance was brought back to Scott County High School.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening. Get ready for some wild and wet weather this weekend. We're tracking rounds of rain and thunderstorms that could cause some issues around the state.
Yeah, we have issued a First Alert Severe Weather Day as we begin with meteorologist Chris Bailey, who is tracking the severe weather. Chris?
Yeah, a severe weather threat is really going to come into play as we go into our Saturday. Your Friday evening is starting out in pretty good shape, though, guys. Temperatures upper 50s to low 60s throughout the entire region. We've got a mix of some sun and some clouds, but again, the severe weather threat is tomorrow into tomorrow evening. Everything is okay today through the rest of the evening into tonight. Here's live First Alert Defender. And tomorrow at this time, Defender is going to be really being put to good use, tracking these lines of thunderstorms across the region. Starting to pick up on some showers into western Kentucky between Bowling Green and Paducah. Notice how the steadier rains a little farther to the south, just to the west of Nashville. All of this, though, ahead of a push of some warmer air that is going to surge its way on into central and eastern Kentucky. That warm front, by the way, is off to our south and southwest. Severe weather threat tonight is from parts of Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, into sections of Texas and Arkansas and Louisiana. But that whole mess, again, rolls our way as we go into the day tomorrow. So what is our storm threat index telling us? Heavy rain is without question the overall greatest threat. Then you've got the wind and large hail threat that will begin to increase second half of tomorrow. And in a setup like this, with a low pressure walking its way across the region, a warm front in the vicinity, guys, that is just enough sometimes to get these storms to spin. So a tornado threat is into the low category late tomorrow afternoon into the evening, but it is a threat nonetheless. Your hour-by-hour forecast and an updated rainfall forecast coming your way in just about 15 minutes.
Nearly 6 months later, and we are finally getting some answers to questions surrounding human remains found in central Kentucky.
Those remains were found back in November in Anderson County. They were sent to an anthropologist in Tennessee who identified the remains as Justin Smith from Indiana. Our Victor Puente tells us why Smith was in Kentucky in our top story at 5:30.
That partial skeleton was discovered in November of last year. The Anderson County coroner says it was a man from Indiana who drove his car to Kentucky and then disappeared into the woods. Because of the condition of those remains, they were sent to an anthropologist at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. At the same time, the Anderson County coroner found the dental records for the man whose wallet had been discovered.
He had served in the Indiana National Guard. So I contacted the Indiana National Guard. His dental records had actually been stored in an Army repository in St. Louis.
Those records match the remains. He's identified as Justin Michael Smith from Indiana. His family last heard from him about a year ago.
He called his family on April 27th and told them that he was in the woods in Kentucky and his cell phone battery was about to die.
Tussey says police in Indianapolis had implicated Smith in a mail fraud case, and he told his family he was worried about the charges. They're still not sure exactly how Smith died.
There was no evidence of blunt force trauma or penetrating trauma such as a gunshot or knife wound.
But they have been able to let his family know where he ended up.
I'm proud that we were able to gather enough evidence to make a positive identification of the remains, because ultimately there's a young man who's deceased.
Smith told his family in Indiana that he was coming to Kentucky to meet a woman he had met online. In Anderson County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
In May of last year, a landowner found Smith in a turkey blind on his property and told him to leave. He was the last person to see him alive.
At least 2 people have been airlifted to a Tennessee hospital after an explosion in western Kentucky. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Marshall County. The sheriff there says Silver Trail Distillery, which is a moonshine distillery and museum, exploded and caught fire this morning. Fire officials believe a still at the plant malfunctioned, causing the explosion. The distillery was destroyed. In Floyd County, state police have identified a woman killed in a fire on Thursday. Troopers say 66-year-old Linda Akers was inside a home on Kentucky 2030 when it caught fire. The cause of Akers' death and the fire is still under investigation. In Franklin County, a man has been charged with distributing and possession of child pornography. State police arrested 27-year-old Robert Devon on Thursday. Troopers say his arrest was the result of an undercover Internet Crimes Against Children investigation. They say he's been sharing images of child sexual exploitation online.
An emotional send-off today for more than 40 Kentucky Air National Guardsmen. For the next 2 months, the Guardsmen will be overseas in the Middle East in support of Operation Freedom's Sentinel. Their mission is to transport troops and cargo in Afghanistan, Northern Africa, and the Persian Gulf. This is the 6th time in the past 12 years that the Kentucky Air Guard has sent a crew to support military operations in that region.
This probably is one of the most experienced group of people that exist within the United States Air Force.
The National Guard are expected to be back in the U.S. by early July.
The Pledge of Allegiance is back at a Central Kentucky school after a nearly 20-year absence, and a Scott County High School junior is the one responsible for bringing it back. Rebecca Smith caught up with the teen, now dubbed the Kentucky Pledge Girl, in a story that's new at 5:30.
This week was the start of something new at Scott County High School.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
That's the Pledge of Allegiance. It's back on a daily basis thanks to junior Lauren Young. She realized its absence from school during a veterans celebration last year.
When we said the pledge, I realized I can't remember the last time I said this. I asked Mr. Howitt, why did we stop saying the pledge in the morning?
They've been saying the pledge every day right next door at the 9th grade school. So Lauren started a petition to get the same thing to happen at the high school.
To see the 1,006 signatures that came with that from the student body, I didn't think she'd get that many.
Most people think it's a religious thing. I think it's a military and service thing, and it honors the troops.
One of the obstacles that Lauren faced was being able to get enough of these little American flags to put in each classroom so that the Pledge of Allegiance could be said every morning. She said thanks to help from the young Republicans and young Democrats, they were able to come up with the $200 needed.
Since 1996, the new Scott County Highs never recited the pledge on a daily basis. We tried to get to the bottom of why the pledge was done away with in the first place.
Do you have any idea why?
I honestly don't know why it's phased out from there to here.
While the reason will remain a bit of a mystery for now, the school community is ready to move from the past into the future with a more patriotic tone.
And we're a nation-loving community, and yet it wasn't here. With the survey that Lauren had conducted, it became very clear to me that the student body was very much behind the idea of honoring our nation daily, and so we have students doing that now every day, and it's a nice addition.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
In Scott County, Rebecca Smith, WKYT.
One nation.
Well, Lauren has received a lot of attention on social media for bringing back the pledge to Scott County High School. Today, she was on hand to say the pledge at the opening of a new business.
It seemed like a legitimate investment firm, but it wasn't. Instead, investors lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Many of the victims were in the military.
I never invest anything, and then I was thinking about investment for a while. So I thought that would be a good opportunity for me to start some kind of investment.
What sparked Xing Lu's interest was the Capital Financial Group, located near the naval base where Xing was attending school. The owner, Vernon Matthews, solicited U.S. military personnel and their dependents to invest with his group by promising generous returns.
I guess I was kind of greedy by being told that I will be granted with high interest return, like 7.27%. So I decided to put some money, extra money, into their account.
Xing gave Matthews more than $10,000 to invest, a year's worth of her savings. She quickly suspected trouble. When she asked for statements, she got excuses.
His son got sick, and his house needed to be repaired because of a hurricane. I lost my trust on him and his company.
When she wanted her money back,
even though I left a voicemail, but no one returned me back.
So Sheen called the Better Business Bureau, then posted her complaints on the website, The Ripoff Report. She quickly learned she was not alone.
I felt, oh, maybe I'm right. I should trust myself. This is a scam.
Postal inspectors say Matthews took more than $235,000 from 34 investors and used it for his own benefit.
In reality, what it was Mr. Matthews was broke, and every time he needed to pay his bills, he would contact her and say, I have this great investment opportunity for you, and solicit more money from her.
Inspectors say Matthews didn't have a job. He lived off the money he stole from investors.
He paid his rent, he paid his car payment, he bought groceries, he bought jewelry. He spent every penny that he took in on his personal lifestyle.
Some advice from postal inspectors: before you invest, do your homework.
Most people need to be registered, and even if they're unregistered, you can contact your state corporation commission and look online to find out if people are actually licensed to be an investment broker or dealer.
Vernon Matthews did plead guilty to mail fraud and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He also has been ordered to pay more than $200,000 in restitution.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Lexington's newest councilman says he's already addressing some issues he believes demands attention.
And Kentucky's 2 Republican U.S. senators are not on the same page on some decisions this week. Bill Bryant explains in the Bottom Line.
Good evening. Lexington's new 1st District Councilman James Brown says his area of town is in transition and people need to work together to continue to create a sense of community that has long existed there. Brown grew up in the district that is home to many prominent African American and historic neighborhoods. Redevelopment in some of those areas is bringing up property values and tax assessments, and that is leading to concern for some who may face higher bills.
I think what some of the citizens' concerns are is that part of what happens when you come in and renovate houses and resell them, it just causes property values to rise. Which, if you have a resident that's been living in the area for years and this is something new and they're on a fixed income, that can be a challenge or an unwanted benefit of redevelopment.
Councilman Brown was appointed to the seat by Mayor Jim Gray when Councilman Chris Ford became the city's Social Services Commissioner. Also on Kentucky Newsmakers, Republican candidate for governor Hal Heiner. To see the full program, set your DVR or catch Kentucky Newsmakers Sunday morning at 6 on WKYT or on its repeat Sunday at 10 a.m. on the CW Lexington. Kentucky's 2 Republican U.S. senators are at odds over a couple of issues this week. On the matter of reauthorizing federal collection of data from Americans, Mitch McConnell is sponsoring the bill that would extend the surveillance. Senator Rand Paul is opposed to it, and he says the Founding Fathers would not have approved. McConnell sided with Democrats and a handful of Republicans and voted to confirm Loretta Lynch as U.S. Attorney General. Paul voted against her confirmation. Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes announced the death today of her maternal grandmother, Elise Crawford Case. Case was 84 years old. She and Grimes's fraternal grandmother helped Grimes launch her political career back in 2011 by appearing in TV spots and campaigning. Thelma Lundergan McHugh died back in 2012. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Quite an honor for an Eastern Kentucky native. Today, Governor Beshear appointed George Ella Lyon as Kentucky Poet Laureate for the next year.
Lyon was formally inducted during a ceremony at the Capitol in Frankfort today. Lyon graduated from Center College, has a Master of Arts in English from the University of Arkansas, and a doctorate in English from Indiana University.
4 books of poetry, a novel, a memoir, a short story collection, and 37 books for young readers. Not to mention teaching and raising 2 sons with her husband.
Deputy Secretary.
The Kentucky Poet Laureate promotes the literary arts in Kentucky through readings of their work at meetings, seminars, and conferences across the state.